my organization. Let's explore the art of the possible. Like, what's the art of possible? Oh my God, the number of things I hear that on a daily basis. Anyway, yeah.
You have to develop a culture
Mhm.
of continuous learning.
So the difference between sharing ideas and providing ideas to the particular team, but actually championing it, like from ground up, like just thinking, looking inward and seeing how that can actually come to life. I think the organizations actually also promote those sort of those kind of behaviors, I would say, and enable that kind of behaviors.
It's just work. We're trying not to take it too seriously.
But really, it is your career, and you need to take ownership of it.
Okay, just moving on briskly to the employer side. So the number one point I have here is organizations, business owners, um, managers encourage a safe space for idea sharing.
Hmm.
Again, like Mrs. Folake Shreton said, you can't demand innovation and then punish mistakes. You have to
Absolutely.
encourage a safe place for idea
Hmm.
sharing. You can't say that's a dumb idea
Hmm.
or that's never going to work.
Mhm.
Like someone is, you guys are spitballing or brainstorming or whatever, and then you're just shutting down every idea or making people feel dumb about the ideas they're making,
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah.
that's stupid, or that
Yeah.
won't work in this space, or it's never going to fly, we don't have a budget for
Mm,
it. Like, you're just shutting down everything.
mm,
If you do
mm.
that, after a while people are just not going to contribute.
Oh, like
Quiet quitting or
garbage
kicking.
in, garbage out.
Yeah. The wheel will never be reinvented.
Right,
It's going to
right.
be that old wheel.
From 25 or 30 years
Exactly,
ago.
exactly. And we all know what happened to people
Oh
like
yeah.
BlackBerry
Mm-hmm.
versus iPhone,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
so managers, business owners, leaders in organization, encourage a safe space for idea sharing. Employees should feel comfortable
Yeah.
pitching their
Yeah.
ideas, even if it doesn't fly. Don't say it to their face,
Mm.
right? You could say, okay, we're going to pack this and maybe consider it in, I don't know, the next 4 quarters or whatever. But the people should feel comfortable
Mm-hmm.
pitching
Mm.
ideas. They should feel comfortable making suggestions.
Mm. No, that's really key. I think so true. So I feel like I love it in terms of that, creating that safe space. I think that's really really important. Another thing that I would want to mention would also be around, for employers, business owners, encouraging or investing rather in employee development. I remember when Fadeke and I were actually brainstorming on this. One of the things that she mentioned was, how some organizations, you know they particularly for trainings that require probably going outside of the core of your core operations. So maybe like you're traveling, like back home in Nigeria, like maybe some trainings that require you traveling to the States or to the UK or something, and they realize that maybe it's the CEO going, or someone who has no business in actually doing the work.
Yeah.
And then they come back and they're not even transferring the knowledge in the way that it still feels like you still have to now go and do the research yourself.
Yeah.
Oh no, you don't need to do that. Like,
Terrible waste.
it's terrible waste. Just invest in employee development, and you shouldn't see employee development from a thing of, oh, like, you're investing in them so that your employees they have to be with you for such a long time. And maybe we shouldn't get into that because there's so many things that come with that. Oh, yeah, some employers will say you have to sign a training bond,
Yeah.
and all of that. It's not. It shouldn't be a give or take kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
it's the norm. It's the minimum expectation that you will invest in your employee. At the end of the day, that is for your own good.
Right.
So for employers that do that, that would rather let me go for the training myself and then I'll come back and tell. Meanwhile, you're not going to come back and do shit. They're going to be the ones to go back and then start researching and all of those things.
Yeah.
Be comfortable investing in employee development.
Yeah.
The ones that will stay, your employees that will stay will stay. The ones that will go, and it's okay.
Yes.
It's okay. You shouldn't take away the fact that you don't even do the best and just even investing in their development.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way you can continue to encourage that culture of innovation or building an innovative mindset in your employees, with your employees rather.
100% agree. Thanks for that, Kola. The next point is managers, leaders, organizations, empower your employees with autonomy. If employees have to come to you for every slight change. They want to send an email, you have to check it first. See, I understand when it comes to autonomy and micromanaging, I understand all the dangers in terms of, oh, let the wrong message not go out or let the wrong product not ship out. I get all of that. But sometimes you do have talented employees. And if you keep cramping their style with micromanaging them and not giving them full autonomy on their job, like we've said so many times, it is detrimental. If you're going to promote a culture of innovation, you have to also give employees the autonomy to own their job and to do their work. Again, if you have to micromanage them, if you have to check everything, if they have to come to you to check everything, it is like having a leak, right, in your home or having a leak somewhere. Slowly but surely, you're draining their drive for innovation. And I speak about this authoritatively because it's happened to me before. You know, just slowly but surely, the person is just sliding into a place of mediocrity, sliding into a place of being like complacent, where it's like, okay, there's no need for me to think if this guy is still going to check everything, if I still have to run everything by him, and he would most likely change things because it's not his own style or her own style. So autonomy is really key. If you're going to promote a culture of innovation, allow people, allow them. Chances are they will come up with something beautiful. And if they do not, it's then your job as the manager to guide them to say, hey, maybe we could have done this way. Hey, maybe we could have done that way. In future, maybe let's consider this. But if you want to control everything, every stage, there really is no need for anybody to be innovative.
Literally.
Yeah. Just, you might as well give a template, a script, and tell them to follow it to the letter. Yeah. If we go into the academic side, that sort of thing is called the classical organization. The classical organization is one that doesn't require people to think. It doesn't require you to be innovative or creative. It just requires you to follow a laid down script. Right?
And just I know we're trying not to, not to prolong this, but and those sort of roles or those sort of the managers or organizations who demand that are the ones where you find that technology can easily replace AI in because if I'm following that lady I require no human judgment, then machine can AI or some form of AI can actually take over that sort of role or that type of job. So, and I'm sure that's not what we want, right? So I think that's really, really beautiful. I think another thing I'll mention is that be around organizations creating incentives for innovation. So beyond just investing, but to also fuel what's it called now? To fuel that mindset and to encourage people to provide more those ideas and be more innovative. Of course, we all know that when something is attached to some reward, people tend to go above and beyond, right? To really come up with the best innovation. However, one thing you should I would say, and I'm sure organizations do it, but something you want to make sure you're doing is you also make sure that the kind of innovations you're looking for should clearly be aligned to your business goals, such that your employees or your team understands the business priorities, the business goals, so that they're not going just about creating something that is just something that is not even in line with the organization's vision or what. Not even that realistically this cannot work here.
Product amiss.
Literally. So you want to make sure that and again that the onus is on you, that your team knows and understands what the organizational goals, the goals are, the priorities are, and then they go ahead to create that, and then I think you should create incentives for that. I think that really I've worked in an organization where there was something of that sort, and I saw how literally people you could fight. It was almost like a competition. Like who was going to come up with the greatest idea, and people got reward. And the reward was in fact even way above, especially for some roles, was way above their salaries, like over and above. So it really did push people to think creatively and just something really out of the ordinary. And I think that was, and it really it did work well for the organization. So I think
100% agree. I've also seen it work. The next point we have is provide the right tools and resources.
Mm.
It's quite wild when I hear organizations say things like, "Oh, we need to be innovative, we need to do things differently," and then you're not providing any tools at all. You're telling HR that HR has to do things innovatively. You have a 250 man staff strength or whatever, and you don't have an HRS. Yet you want HR to be so innovative. You want HR to start doing analytics and all these things. And I'm just wondering, what's going on?
How will we do it?
Yeah, what's going on? You want people to be innovative. You haven't given them some resources, some tools to enable them. Are they meant to pluck the innovation from the sky? So the kind of support to aid that is providing the right tools,
Yeah.
providing the right
Yeah.
resources. Some people need more people on their team.
Right.
They're brilliant, they're innovative, but they can't implement or execute because they just have such a lean team. Some people, so resources could be people, like human resources. It could be that they need more time. You're forcing them to deliver on something next week, but they know that the product is not ready. So the resource they might need is just time,
Yeah.
time resource. Some people is financial. They just need you as an
Sure.
organization to allocate more budget to the project.
True.
If that project is really going to be stellar, they just need some more money pumped in.
You have to spend.
Yes.
You have to spend for innovation to work.
Exactly.
You have to spend.
Some
Honestly.
people, what they need is the machinery or like the technology, to just give that innovation, that thing they're thinking, to give it the boost. Right? So organizations have to be willing. Of course, there's going to be, the analysis, making sure that the tools being requested or the resources actually make sense. And we're not saying give people everything they ask, but you have to, as an organization, give people, to an extent, the needed resources and tools. You can't give them nothing and expect heaven. You can't. It's wild, and it's a form of insanity as well, right?
I think to just wrap the employer rather side of things. One thing I'd like to add is leaders need to lead by example. You want innovation, you have to lead by example. You have to show the way, show innovation, behave innovation, think innovation, model the behavior of innovation. That's all I'm trying to say, basically.
Right.
So you need to, so that when people, so as people even join your organization from day one, they can already see, like they can tell from onboarding, even from the hiring process, they can tell that no, this is an organization that embraces innovation. It would speak in everything that happen, like that has to do with the organization, in the little details, and people already know. So you have to model and lead by example, and at the same time be open to change, like embrace change, be open to change, like don't even if you probably founded the company or the organization, it was your idea. Trust me, when you thought about that idea and the way things are done, like you know that probably a lot of things have changed. And if you continue to stick to the way things were done there because you felt it was working, at the end of the day, the company is going to die, really. So you need to be open to change. You need to embrace change. And I think by leading and showing that example, you are already building and enabling and creating an innovative culture within your organization. So Dikems, final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Culture eats structure for breakfast. I think that's a popular saying. Culture trumps structure, something like that. Culture is like the principal thing. It is. A lot of things rest on culture. So getting culture right is really important. Personal culture as an employee, and then on the employer side, company culture is really important. We are human beings. We are prone to messing up. We're prone to failure. If you are so averse to mistakes and failure, you really would just be limiting yourself. So my closing thoughts would be: open yourself up, embrace mistakes, open yourself up to innovation. There are brilliant people out there. Allow them do the work. If all the ideas and innovation, if all of those stuff are coming from just the CEO or the CTO or whatever, you're limiting your growth as an organization. Employees, we've spoken about things to embrace, and I really hope that those are useful to you.
Thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, please like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next episode. Until next time, have a good day. Bye.
Bye.